Yo, so this is the second video I'm doing on just reviews and impressions I have of albums in my collection, and it's more for me than anything else, but since I watch so many record and audiophile YouTube channels, I figured I might as well start doing some myself. And since I'm not super duper into gear, I'm more into the music, I figured I would just kind of go through my collection and do videos giving my impression of the performance, the songs, the pressing quality, the recording quality, and just listenability, meaning how many times do I want to throw this record on. And that way I can kind of have an idea of what's in my collection and help me figure out what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of and what I might want to listen to on any given week. But the second record in my collection, the first video was the live Third Man Records recording of the 5.6.7/8, and my second video is on Chk Chk Chk, and it's exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And the band is, they're called Chk Chk Chk, so CHK, CHK, CHK. I'm not super familiar with their whole catalog, but a friend of mine showed me their first record a long time ago when they first came out, and I went back and got the vinyl a couple years ago, and I've really been enjoying it. I went back and listened to it again today, so I thought I would just give kind of overall impressions. If I had to give an overall rating out of 10, I would say an 8, and I kind of base that off of a few different categories. The performance, the songs themselves, pulls me right into the groove. The band is super tight. The rhythm section has me wanting to move. This era of the band kind of reminds me a lot of Gang of Four's Entertainment record, and maybe like Remain in Light era Talking Heads. Each song on side A is really solid. It keeps my attention, has lots of interesting additions, subtractions, to what are essentially repetitive loops and grooves, almost in the style of like Fela Kuti, if Fela were a punk kid in the early 2000s. Side A ends with a feel-good hit of the fall, which is interesting because it's not labeled that way on the back of the album cover. The song titles are in a different order on the actual record. But it is a banger. The use of keyboards on the album, it's subtle, really tasteful. Primarily a drums, bass, and guitar album with horns and keys peppered in, kind of like the last spice that perfects a dish. On side B, it gets a little weirder. There are more horns, little darker. Everything is still really groovy. It reminds me a bit of like the first Cake record, Fashion Nugget. The guitars play a little more dissonant on side B. Overall, it incorporates a lot more noise and chaos, but always with that through line of like a consistent bass line and that dancey drum beat. They do some group chants and slaps, claps. It's still like the feeling of being at a party on side B, but if the party is getting a little weird, you're not quite sure if you want to leave or stay because you don't want to miss out on whatever crazy weird thing seems like it's about to happen. Anyway, everything is still fun. Still feels like a little dangerous, like the songs could fall apart any minute. All the songs blend really well together. They feel like part of one big cohesive idea and feeling. These songs feel like they belong together on the album. Side B is slower, darker, so the vibe kind of changes a little bit. If you do throw this on at a party, best to stick to side A if you're trying to keep the vibe right and don't want people to feel weird. It might be fun to put this side B on if you had a friend that thought it would be a good idea to eat some kind of fungus and visits you, and if you want to mess with them, that might be fun. The recording quality, pressing quality, I gave a 6.7. The actual mix, the engineer did a great job. The pressing is not great, not terrible, but you know, there's some noise on the vinyl. I cleaned it twice on a ultrasonic cleaner, so it's not dirty, it's just kind of a noisy pressing. My record doesn't have any scuffs or scratches or anything like that. But when the songs are playing, I don't notice that the pressing is noisy. The mix is actually really good. The balance and space of each instrument works really well. The bass of the kick drum is really quick and heavy. The chink chink of the hi-hats and cymbals, it rings through, has lots of highs and harmonics. Same thing with the guitars. You can really hear their picks and those bridge pickups, catching every little nuance of the mid-highs and the harmonics. This is an album that's not too easy to find these days, and it does not exist on most music streaming sites. I know YouTube has the album posted, but other than that, I don't really know if I couldn't find it on Spotify or Tidal. Maybe Apple Music has it, I'm not too sure. It could really benefit from a repress though, maybe from a well-known pressing plant. I would love to see like Mobile Fidelity or Craft Recordings or anybody with a good pressing plant do this album, because it really is a great album. I love this album. Listenability, repeat listens, I could put this on, I give listenability a 9. I mean, I could put this album on any given day. I'm not a huge fan of the band's entire catalog, but this first album is something I think most people can enjoy, regardless of age or taste. It's a great party record. It's weird enough to please people with more adventurous tastes and groovy enough to get your average listener up and dancing. When people tell me they like Franz Ferdinand or The Killers, I try to turn them on to this album. And like I said, if you like Gang of Four or Talking Heads, I think you would dig this album. So overall, I give this album an 8. It's fantastic, and on to the next record.